All right, Bart, we are live. First time, first trip in a while. We had to get out because of COVID. And we said, let's go down to Ironroot in Denison, Texas.
Hello.
And I thought that might happen. Hold on just a second.
We're going to mute.
Muted.
Bingo. We've got the chat popped out so we can see that. Now we're in. Oh.
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. So we're good. So this is Ironroot's barrel room. And who is with us?
Jonathan Licorice. one of the Licorice brothers.
Thank you for having us down.
Oh, anytime, guys.
So
we came down yesterday. This is Saturday, so we came down last night. We got to taste a few things in here. We talked about a lot of the special projects, kind of special things you guys are working on as far as just different casks that you're getting, even different whiskeys. The last time I was down here, and probably even when Bart and I was down here, you guys were working pretty much exclusively with corn whiskey, bourbon. Since you've done some single malts, you've worked with some wheat.
Branching out, yeah. Decided why just focus just on corn when we could play with other stuff too. Yeah, Beautiful. We're still making plenty of bourbon. That's still what we focus on, but we like to play around with some other stuff.
And you've even got a tasting tour experience going on now. So we should be fine where we're at. They just finished this part of the barrel tour. And you do that on Saturdays,
correct?
Right. So Saturdays, those are happening in the main room and they're touring through. So we've popped into the barrel room, the warehouse area, after they've come through and kind of done their thing and they're back up front. But someone could pop through. You are doing business. So if somebody comes through in the background, don't worry about it at all. We're flowing with it.
We'll assume they're supposed to be here.
Yes. Exactly.
Hey, real quick, let us know, how is the audio working? We are in a big room. We've got the mic right here. Hopefully it's picking us up okay.
Good. We got Zach Andrews in. He's saying cheers to the whiskey gingers is what he says.
Zach is in Houston, I want to say. Is that right? Do you know Zach Andrews?
I think Yeah.
Houston. We've met him down at in Austin.
Yes.
Christine Daisy, I see. Gene Parker.
Holy smokes,
Loch Ness.
love it live.
Pete
Sound
Head.
is perfect, says Loch Ness.
Okay, good.
Sounds great, says Zach. Loud and clear, Pete Head. And George G-Cap. A Saturday test it. So, perfect. All right, so what do we got here?
So this first one we got for you is a special project that we just put out. The first batch was maybe a month ago. So this is called Grayson. It's actually a blend of 3 different Texas whiskeys. We're doing it for Vernon Wells, the baseball player. On this first batch, it actually had, of course, our juice in there. And then with that, I blended in some Lone Elm and some Balcones. And so ideally, you should be able to kind of pick that out, and you can actually taste all the different flavors from the different distilleries in there, but they should kind of all work really well together. So,
okay.
Let's just show.
Yep. Put it up. I'll get out of the way.
I don't know. I can't see.
Yep. You're looking good. Yep. Centered up nice.
Grayson. And this is a Texas blended bourbon. 59.7% ABV. Very nice.
it's not playing around.
Yeah, I don't know. Most of your stuff, most of what Ironroot produces isn't playing around.
And now you can buy this, obviously, if they come by here. So if they come to Denison, right, or no?
So the second batch of this one should be coming out later this year. So more in the fourth quarter sometime. The first one sold out much quicker than we were anticipating. So it's nice. But we're gonna expand out the growth on this guy as well, and maybe include some other distilleries on the future batches. So it'll be, it won't be the exact same product every time. So it's kind of fun from a blending standpoint. We get to kind of create something. It should be at least this good or better at each time we put it out. It's kind of what we promise. So
beautiful.
Same promise you get from Ironroot.
Like it a lot.
I see one comment already. The Red Cap Blue Hat says, "Howdy boys, those bottles have sure changed." Yep, and unfortunately, I think Ironroot is switching bottles. This isn't this has some Ironroot whiskey in it, but this is a separate bottling they did. It's labeled Grayson, but Ironroot is changing their bottles as well too.
Well, and we talked a lot about it. They're so stylistic, but they're heavy. And so a lot of the bartenders were letting you know that as they're pouring, it's hurting their wrist and it's not balanced. And so clearly you don't want them going, you want them to say, yeah, I want to pour Ironroot. So that was interesting.
Well, and they take up a lot more room.
Right. A lot more
being
shelf room.
wider,
And if they're situated sideways, you can't even tell what it is. So
I will hate to see that bottle go, though. I really like that bottle. Design. Yeah.
I'll see if I can do something in the future to kind of
Bring it
make
back.
special edition,
Yeah,
I
distillery
will.
only.
Sure.
We'll see. But,
Love it.
you guys ready for
You bet.
Ready.
Alrighty.
Now, okay, so this one was a bourbon whiskey.
So this one is technically it's a Texas blended bourbon whiskey, and what that category actually allows for is only so much of it has to be straight bourbon whiskey. You can actually have other types of whiskey in there. So that's how we wanted to go to this category because in Texas, not all of us make bourbon, and so there's a lot of other good whiskeys I wanted to be able to incorporate in here. So we just have to use mostly straight bourbon on this guy, but that's how we got Lone Elm in there, which makes a wheat whiskey. And so it's fantastic because kind of the concept on it was to have the bourbon add in the wheat whiskey, and it's kind of like making it a wheated bourbon at that point. So
Now, Joey Short Pants has a question for you. He says, does, quote, Ironroot have any significance or meaning behind it?
definitely. So the name Ironroot actually comes from our town that we live in, Denison. So late 1800s, there's a gentleman who lived here by the name of T.V. Munson, and he was grafting European grapes onto Texas rootstock. And a lot of the reasons he was doing that was because he wanted to be able to grow those good European grapes here for wine production. Now, around this same time frame, there's a disease running rampant over in France, in particular, called phylloxera. It was attacking all the roots of the grapes over there. In the Cognac region, they say that they lost about 80% of their vines. So this obviously hit their industry pretty hard. It's actually what made way for Scotch to become what it is today, because back then Cognac was king. So with the reduction of Cognac, all of a sudden Scotch grew, and that became the spirit of choice after that. But because of that, they came to T.V. Munson and said, "Hey, you've been grafting these European grapes onto the Texas roots, and they're disease resistant to the American diseases," because phylloxera came from the U.S. So he's actually credited with helping save the French wine industry, and he also he won some special Legionnaire awards and things like that in France. So they have statues of him over there.
Wow.
The Munson family still lives in this area. But because of that, we say that the iron roots of Texas actually saved the French wine industry.
Very nice. Perfect.
No, and also real quick, we shorten it, and I've noticed you
Yes.
well just say Ironroot.
But
It's Ironroot Republic.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And that was, well, we're in Texas, so
Sure.
everything's Republic down
Right.
there. Yeah.
The Republic of Ironroot. So Jay Halley says the Beatles of Booze are live.
Yep.
So that was kind of
Thanks,
nice.
Jay.
Yep, very nice. And then Graham Young, and then we'll get to tasting. Cheers. Nice to see you guys travel again. What better place to end up?
Yep.
And there's a special Cheers Bart. I think you were left out on
Oh,
that
good.
one.
Yeah. Well, you got hashtag trust Bart still. And the nose here, I've got to wait for the palate because my nose still is not fully back. It's not revealing too much to me overall. So I've got to wait for the palate here.
And what's the proof again?
119.4,
Ooh, yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
119.4.
Because it bites you a little bit. I came in a little quick with the nose and was like, "Oh, back it up, back it up."
It wasn't ready for you yet.
Yeah, that's right. That is nice. So
We were-
brown
we were-
sugars.
We were talking about the proof though, and how a lot of your stuff is the higher proof. And last night you was telling us the story. Someone had ordered some whiskey from you or had bought some whiskey, and they said we wanted the low proof stuff. And you said, yeah, I sent the 50%.
Yeah, and they were like, "Ooh."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There was a lot of "Ooh." That's your low proof.
Yeah, I saw an advertisement the other day, and it was proofed at 101, and they were like, "It's overproof bourbon." And I was like,
Oh.
well, that's just bourbon at that point
That's
to me.
right.
So
That's
right.
Good, that's a good philosophy.
That didn't come from a republic. So yeah, brown sugars on the nose. That sweetness curling on out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you got taste wise?
Very rich palate. A lot of depth here. Brown sugars, cinnamons, great bourbon notes here. Mouth coating, saturating. corn. It's good.
Yeah. So what would be some of the notes that you get off of this?
Well, I can tell you specifically when we were blending it, one of the things we were looking at was so Lone Elm has a density to their spirit. Have you ever had Lone Elm by itself?
Have not.
So it's super dark. This came from their 5 to 7 year old stock, and so that's where if you get any anise, that's where we're pulling that from. There's a lot of good like cedar notes to it, things like that. So that was one of the really powerful aspects that I wanted to kind of capture was that cedary kind of wood note in there. Balcones, we specifically use their blue corn bourbon. So we use their blue corn bourbon, and what I was really looking for in that was their stone fruit notes. So they have kind of an apricot and plum notes that pop out in that particular bourbon of theirs. And the barrels that we got from them were fantastic with that note. And so then what we decided to do was take the Ironroot. We specifically picked the barrels back here to match what we already had there. And we kind of just wove them in all together like that point. And so we amped up the mid palate with some of the barrels we chose. Some of the ones here were more experimental barrels and things like that. So it was fun experience to do.
Lokeness says he loves the background barrels, and then he echoed and said, fantastic, just with the view. So very nice. Yeah, great setting. Love all the barrels in the background.
Now, this is Grayson batch 1, which is sold out. What was the price point on this one? And will it be the same for batch 2?
I think that's going to stay the same price point. I want to say it was 55 here at the distillery.
So
something like
Very
that.
nice, especially at that proof.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely worth that. Now, will you try to replicate this with batch 2, or is there admittedly just it's going to be different?
It'll be different each time. What we are doing, we're selecting single barrels from all these distilleries.
Okay.
And so us trying to get the exact same single barrel every time is going to happen.
Right.
So part of the fun of it is it's going to change slightly. The next batch should be similar to this. Well, we're actually calling it batch part B of batch 1 on that one. And then batch 2, we'll start changing it up a little bit more. But
How many bottles did you have from batch 1? Do you remember?
oh goodness, we had, I think it actually says on the label.
Question from Eric. Does Scott have his smeller back yet?
No.
Nope, not yet. Not fully.
Palate is doing better each day. I'm putting my palate 80-90%. Nose, though, is only about 30%. So, which was a good thing in the car riding down here with Bart yesterday.
Yes, that's right. He was immune.
You want some water?
I do. Graham Young says, in the camera angle, Bart, you look like you're particularly large, giant, tall swiller. Yeah, that's not.
I gave you some. I gave you one dropper.
Yeah, that's not an
Did
accident.
you want?
So, Scott's actually normal height.
Yeah. We was trying to set it up where Bart doesn't look like a giant.
Yeah, I could move back further.
Yeah, you definitely keep going.
Yeah, hold on.
Keep going.
So he's
further.
taking me out. What?
Go back over there.
Oh,
Over there.
hold on.
There you go. Yeah, right in there. Yeah. Bart looks just stay there. That looks good.
Woo. And you may hear, I forget the little kitty cat's name, but you can hear a very talkative cat, which I like. What is the cat's name?
That is Brandy. the cat.
Brandy. Brandy is awesome. Brandy greets. But I think Brandy wishes she could join us, but she can't, right?
You wouldn't be able to hear either of you talking if she was next to the mic.
She's a chatter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like her. You got a little warehouse cat.
Yeah, very, very nice here with Grayson batch 1. So
Mm-hmm.
too bad that's still not available.
I know. We would have got 2 of those.
I think this is the only bottle I have actually for me.
Yep. So
Well, and you're gonna have
you
to
can
keep
come up with
that.
your tasting
I gotta-
profile.
You've got to keep that for reference now.
Right.
For the next blend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was the percentages? Ironroot, Lone Elm, and Balcones.
I forget the exact percentages. I think we were sitting 75% ours, and then kind of split between the other two at that point. So, and that'll probably change next time. But it's
majority is Ironroot, and then nice.
Yeah. The way we've got this set up, we can actually change up those percentages pretty easily. So it's
Now, was that brought down to 59.7%, or is that?
no, it's
was
just
higher.
below blend strength. So I think it was 121 and change when we got everything in there, and then we brought it down to that. And we tried a lot of different proofs on it because originally the plan was not to do 119 proof blended bourbon here, but that's where we ended up. That's where everybody liked it the best, and that's
well, good.
Now, Brian Hunter wants to know if they can trust your palate. I would say yes on your palate, but your nose isn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I really haven't had any days where, since it started to rebound, I don't think there's been any days where it's like relapsed and went back. It's pretty much stayed up, and I just seem to be getting more and more. My palate, I think, like I say, is really good. It's just my nose. I can't. We did 5 or 6 different whiskeys back here last night, and I really couldn't tell a difference on the nose between any of them.
Got it. Yeah, but you were picking up distinct differences flavor-wise.
Yeah, on the palate. Yeah,
Right.
you bet.
It says whiskey with 2 jerks. Bart, just grab a barrel. Earlier it said maybe you can sneak out with it.
I've got the Tahoe backed up over here. They don't know it.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Got it. Eric Waite says it looks familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
it should.
Yes.
It should look familiar to him.
Yeah. Eric was up here. Well, he won or bid on. It was an auction we did for a tour here.
Well, then one of my buddies also bid. He's still got to get up here.
Christmas on Crestline.
Down here. Yeah.
Yep.
Christmas on Crestline is going to come through.
There you go.
So,
COVID kind of shut
yes.
a lot of stuff down.
Yes.
And so tell us, I know we've talked about it, Jonathan, but how did Ironroot as a business do over the last year with COVID?
Overall, we were pretty fortunate with COVID. So we'd gotten to a scale to where we weren't having to rely on tastings to move bottles all the time. So we had just gotten crept above that threshold. We were able to keep selling bottles out of the distillery the whole time. So we were moving both product through liquor stores as well as here. So that was good for us. And we also won an award at the beginning of COVID. Which,
Big award.
Don't be
a little tiny thing.
Yeah, the World Whiskey Awards, World's Best Bourbon for 2020.
Yeah. And then you had a good point, is that there was also, which magazine? Was it Forbes or who had?
So Forbes came back and they did basically an online article about the World Whiskey Awards for 2020. And that came out about the same time everybody was sitting at home on their phones. So I think Forbes even had more readership than they normally would at that point in time.
Right. Hold on. What do we got here? Graham,
we got
Young.
a super chat.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Cowbell, Canadian, $6.99.
Good.
What's that?
Thanks, Graham.
Canadian. Yeah.
I don't know where their conversion rate is.
Well, the
anymore.
dollar is just going wrong. So
Yeah.
it's almost the
Yeah,
same
true.
now.
Probably is.
Yeah.
That might be like $20 US.
Oh,
now.
yeah. Pretty soon. Goodness.
Thanks, Graham. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So now, though, Jonathan is going to go pull. He has something in mind he wants to show us.
Right.
Cask in here, and then we'll find out what it is and talk about
There's
it.
a lot of alchemy going on in here,
Mhm.
but you can only share some things because it is alchemy.
That's right.
Right. So, but you're going to go pull something, and we'll fill some time, right?
Well, yeah. And at first he was going to pull from a barrel, and I said, "Well, are you ready to disclose really what's in there, what you're doing?"
No.
And no. So
He said he'd have
came
to
up
kill
with
us.
another barrel.
Yeah, he'd have to kill
So-
us if you got that one. So,
So
Yeah, if you need to go.
I got
Yeah.
2 options for you guys. So
Okay.
all right.
I'll go find something.
All right.
Okay.
We'll fill, and we'll look at some of the comments coming in.
Thanks to everybody tuning in,
Yeah,
though. It
appreciate
is
it.
Saturday afternoon. I will tell you, they are running tours here. We're in between tours. We
Mhm.
don't plan on this being an hour-long stream. This
Nope.
is probably about a 20 to 30-minute stream. And I guess we're at 19 minutes right now. So
Graham says that's about 25 cents American. No, I don't think so.
yeah.
I think you're doing way better than that. Let's see. Jay, is it Holly? The proof. Wow. Bottle will last a long time inside my home bar. Yeah. Yeah.
So real quick, again, this is, I'll show you.
Ooh, Christmas on Crestline's on. He says
Good.
it can't wait to get here.
Good. Is that good centered there? Let's see it.
Yep. Angle her back a little bit. You'll catch a little more light. There you go. Very nice.
This is Grayson. This is really, this is a blend Ironroot did. It's got Ironroot, Lone Elm, and Balcones in it. This was batch 1. It sold out. They're going to be in the fall, you said, batch 2 or batch B should come out. Definitely one to look for.
Now, Zach says, how does it compare to the Evolution Barrel 199 Batch 3?
Oh,
Wow.
well, so that's very specific.
Yes, that is. I was like, holy moly.
So 199 Evolution Barrel was, so that was a purple corn and European oak. It was pretty old by our standards when we released it. But so our Evolution barrels, we do a initial pull out of them, and we'll pull probably 7 cases out of the barrel, and then we'll put that out in the market. So it went to the liquor store. We let the rest of it age, come back usually 6 months later, pull another 7 cases out, and then do.
So that would
do
be
it
batch
again.
B.
So, well, he's talking about the third pull. So that's actually the third iteration.
Gotcha.
And so as you can see, as it's, I guess as you're dropping the fill in that barrel, it's actually kind of accelerating how much oak you're putting on those things. So it was a heavy hitter at that point. So that's it's going to be a way different flavor profile than this guy. So obviously this one's got the Lone Elm and Balcones in there as well. But it's
what I like with Ironroot, what you got, the experimentation that you guys are doing and just trying different things, different corn mashes, different colors of corn, different whiskeys now, single malts, bourbons, weeded whiskeys, a rye. You got an Irish whiskey. Maybe I shouldn't say that. That
maybe not. See,
that's aging.
Some people know about it.
Okay, we could kill him. AJ Lopez, we've got another super chat in. Ding, 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 ding. And $4.99. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, dummies. Barton Scott. Wish I was there. Ask Jonathan if the Chinese restaurant barrel is still around. Sláinte.
No.
Oh, no. I didn't even know.
No, that's there was one that I used to call Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
So that guy is gone. So that was barrel 286.
Is it because of COVID?
No.
Oh.
No.
Where you changed it to the Wuhan barrel? That's we're in trouble now.
Get out of here! Get it out of here!
He said Wuhan.
So no, that one's not there anymore. But it's that one was great. It was like you walked into some type of Asian restaurant and just all the smells that were going on in the room at that point. So it was.
Wow.
All right,
I'll find another one for you, AJ, that has those same flavors.
Yeah. Someone mentioned the mic might have been improperly in the area.
Oh,
So I'm just saying there was a little comment about a weird placement of the mic.
Oh,
So just saying you
just
may want
my
to shift.
looks funny. Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of a dongle.
Let's see. Let's move it a little bit over here in between us. There we go.
There you go. That looks good. All right.
better. Wow.
So I had to finish that.
The
That
old
was
excited
delicious.
Mike.
Yeah, the excited Mike.
All right. So this is a barrel Jonathan snuck off here, pulled from. I won't be able to. Yep. I can't tell you anything about the nose.
Excellent.
Now I know you'd brought up one beforehand that you might pull from. I don't know if this is it or not. It was a sherry cask bourbon.
So it's similar to that. This is actually Armagnac.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to
I
be.
thought I got like cherry or something. I don't know. What are you? What do we got?
Well, let's wait till we test it
Yes,
or taste
sorry.
it, and then we'll find out more about it.
True.
Put things in your mind.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, we got to let you. Huh. Let me cleanse a little bit.
Ooh, very astringent. Nice palate though.
Dry.
Still taking over. Nothing jumping out right now on that first sip. Let me hit my palate again with the next one.
Ooh.
Brandy the cat is really going to town.
She's missing us.
Yep. I just got, wow. Woo. Yeah, the ABV is higher. That's higher than 59%.
Yeah, this is
one.
not at bottling strength right now. So this
That's 60 something. I got a little bit of that wine cast that Armagnac came through. I don't know if I'd be able to tell you yet it was Armagnac, but there was definitely a wine influence on this. Still, though, this feels like a bourbon or a corn whiskey that's
I
in
wouldn't
it.
have guessed Armagnac.
No, yeah, but I know you're doing some stuff with some single malts now and some different things. This feels like a corn whiskey or a bourbon that's probably in there. Nice rich palate though. Again, so much flavor in what you're doing here.
Caramel on the finish.
This one will benefit from a couple drops of water.
Okay.
So this is going to be part of a new series that we're going to put out. So to date, we haven't released any finished bourbons. So what we're going to do is we're going to use just a little bit of bourbon, and this one's finished in that Armagnac cask. So we're going to call it Apotheosis. And so that's going to come out. We're going to do 2 releases this year, but the finishing casks are going to release. There will be different each release. So this one is the inaugural one. It's the Armagnac finish.
What's it going to be called again? Sorry.
Apotheosis.
Apotheosis.
That's
And I think you do most
like
of the
an
naming, don't you?
apothecary.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Apotheosis is basically like a final form. So there's not much else you can do to bourbon after it's bourbon other than finish it. So it's kind of elevating to that kind of final level.
Bazios is high from Germany. Prost.
What kind of mash bill are we looking at here?
This is actually a blend of stuff that I put together.
Oh.
So there's a couple of different bourbons that went into that finishing cast.
Ooh. Expedition says, Expedition whiskey. When can we get the whiskey in Germany? So do you have anything going European wise, German wise, or I mean, I know you've had some UK.
The closest thing I have, I sent 2 barrels to Berry Brothers and Rudd, that is single barrels, but it left a couple weeks ago here, so it'll take them a while to get it back over there, bottled up. I don't know. We sent it to them actually in cask. So I don't know if they plan on letting it age for a little bit there and bottling it, but that's about the closest thing we have going overseas right now.
All right, let's see. Donner Pass whiskey. Wow. Hi, guys. Let's see what else we got going on here.
That's still.
Yeah, it's strong.
I added a dropper and a half, and it's still begging for more water.
It's up there on the top rack right now, and you can't feel it, of course, over the internet, but it's pretty humid and warm in here right now.
Yeah.
The Whiskey Scout. I like Ironroot whiskeys, but the Hubris is my personal favorite.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Uh,
That's a
then-
good one.
Yep. And then there's some vaccine talk in there. Let's see.
No, I know you guys. You do have a couple of your releases though that are lower ABV, kind of more your entry level or your.
We've got a Harbinger XC. XC is the Roman numeral for 90, and so that's our 90 proof Harbinger. So that's the lowest we've done.
Okay,
on
and that's a
the whiskey
bourbon.
side. That's a bourbon as well.
Now, Eric Wade has a suggestion for you on the naming side. You should make a bourbon from just the tail cut and name it Halitosis.
The sniper strikes
the
again.
Sniper hit. Boom.
Claire the Third, I see tuning in. We are out and about for the first time in a long time. We came down to Denison, Texas, down here to Ironroot. We hadn't been down to see Jonathan and Robert and Marcia and John for a while, and thought that'd be a good first trip to get back in the grind.
Very good.
And thanks to you guys for having us.
Yep.
For sure. And those that tuned in late, this is Jonathan Licorice, co-owner, co-operator, or maybe all operator. Maybe you're the only operator. I don't know.
No,
There will be a fight.
there's only a few of us that work here. We all do a little bit of everything. So it's
Yeah, because you've got 4 employees still.
yeah. Well, one of them's mom. One of them's my dad. We call him Intern John.
Intern John.
Intern John.
We have Ashley that still works with us, and then Rob and I, and that's it.
Perfect.
So,
Very nice. Yeah, let's see. Claire the Third says he just picked up the Glenlivet Illicit for $50,
Yeah.
which was a review we just
Yep, just today, just
Yep.
released that one. Now, I will tell you, so Ironroot, you are kind of in your first expansion. You had the distillery here. You've now already you've pushed it out to add your tasting lounge and cocktail lounge. So you'll be able that was included out in the distillery area. So that's going to free up some space. I think you're getting down to where you're going to need some more warehouse space here before long. Winning the award, Best Bourbon, And then last year you won Best Craft Distiller as well. How much do you think that increased the orders, the business?
Some of the awards we won, we didn't really see much happen after that. With this one, definitely did. So we were pretty surprised at how big of an effect it had. And we were kind of worried going into COVID that it was actually, we won the award. We were worried that it was not going to kind of benefit us business-wise because we figured everybody be at home and nobody'd care. Right. But it kind of had the opposite effect on it. So that was our numbers. We've been doing pretty solid increases on what we've been doing every year. But this kind of blew us out of the water. So right now it feels like I take whiskey and throw it in a black hole. So as soon as we send it out of here, they want more. And it's, what we have now, we made 3 years ago, well before we won that award. So yeah, we had no clue that was ever going to happen.
Yep.
So
Perfect. Good.
I even added, so I just went to the third dropper full of water on mine. I got, before I added that water though, mid palate and oak tannin really jumped out at me that hadn't been there as the water was being added.
So with that Armagnac, it'll start to have some different kind of fruit notes that pop up, but it also will add a little bit more of an anise kind of vibe into it. Sometimes people read it as a little bit of, it's almost kind of smoky kind of content to it. So that's the barrel it's in is Gascon oak, which actually is a different type of oak than we do. It comes from the red oak family. They actually call it black oak over there. You don't typically see it used in barrel making because supposedly it leaks really a lot. But somehow in Armagnac they figured out how to get it to work. So it's even different than kind of just your typical French oak, European oak, and so it actually adds some different vibe to it. So I like it. It's always like this kind of like super dark root beer note to me that I really like in the Armagnac cask. But
let me go grab Robert real quick if he's available. See if we can get him in here. I see we're at 30 minutes.
Sure.
So let me grab.
Yep, because I'll have a live tour coming through soon. So go grab Robert. All right. So as far as oak choices go, have you tried a barrel and been like, or maybe you even knew beforehand and you were like, I don't want to work with this type of wood, or this is not something I wanted, or maybe it's not, you don't like it, but maybe it's not your flavor profile that you're looking for. Have you had anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, we're fairly limited on the types of barrels we can use oak wise. It's a lot of that has to do with what we call tyloses. And so in American white oak, European oak, French oak, they actually have quite a few tyloses. That's what helps it self-seal. So you can see where sometimes these will drip down, but you can see this stuff that's kind of just sticking off the top here. But so that stuff it's actually kind of an oak extract, but that is that barrel sealing itself, which is why they use oak barrels as opposed to many of the other woods. Now there's people out there that are using Oregon oak, and that's interesting to me. It's not really something that's on my flavor profile that we would use here. It's kind of cool. We thought about trying to use some of the Texas oak down here, but they're not real good for barrel making. There are some other ones that are different than oak, like a chestnut would be. I've had some spirit out of chestnut barrels that's really good. So it'd be interesting to see what happened with that. But as far as ones that I just absolutely did not like, no.
Okay.
No.
Robert, the tour has ended. The tasting has ended. So he's out there working the marketing and some sales right now, but he's going to try to get back here in a second. So
I'll find you guys one more if that's good.
Oh, yeah.
You bet. So whiskey
no
more barrel draws. So red oak, whiskey scout red oak is more open grained, therefore it's more porous than the white oak. Graham Young, the color of that pour is amazing, Jonathan. Yeah. So very Coke dark like.
Claire the Third wants to know when Ironroot is coming to Virginia. Any ideas on that, Jonathan? Do you know?
That is a great question for Robert.
Okay,
Claire
Robert
the Third
that
says,
one.
I feel like there is a cat in heat in the background. Well, that's just that was Scott when he was off camera. Actually, no,
Did you?
Brandy the cat. Yeah, I showed him.
Did you
Show it again. Yeah, Brandy the cat is back there, kind of a Siamese cat that is just a talker. We like Brandy. So she is mad because she can't come up here and hang out with us. Yes.
She's definitely not in.
Yeah. No, not in heat.
She's only got one tooth left.
She's only got one tooth. She's an old lass.
Ironroot, like most Texas whiskeys, because of the heat here, ages quicker. Now, you guys are on the north end of Texas, so you're not getting quite the heat that, say, Waco gets,
Right.
but close.
Yeah.
The wood impact, though, and influence on the whiskeys here is just so tremendous, and that color that's in that whiskey. I mean,
It's hard
But-
to beat it.
Ironroot also, you guys don't go down, per se to the co-op and say we need 500 pounds of corn. You guys source, you look for the best corn. You're working with purple corns, red corns, Mexican corn, white corn, all these different corns that you want the best of, basically. And then you're also using good casks, different wood, different casks, trying different things. And I think it's paying off and it's showing
On
in
some
what's
of that,
going on.
some of that note, Joseph Horton has a question. I know temperature and humidity are huge factors when determining the flavor profiles that impacts the cask. Does Ironroot do anything to attempt control of these factors?
In a limited capacity. So the warehouse here is insulated with foam. So the highest it actually ever gets at the ground level in here is about 98 degrees, which is in Texas is pretty moderate.
Okay.
Temperature wise. So we'll open up the doors where used to be a boat dealership with back bays where they would work on the boat. So there's a lot of roll up doors back here. And so we'll actually let some air breathe in. So sometimes if we're just back here, you'll get pockets of ethanol. It'll build up on top of the barrels as the angel share comes out. It kind of stagnates the whiskey. So we do let it breathe every once in a while. As far as humidity, we do control that. So we like to keep it about 75%. Right now, I think we're sitting at 74. So that's just about right. For whiskey, that's a pretty good percent humidity. If you get too dry, you'll actually extract out some really astringent flavors out of the wood. You'll have barrels that'll crack and leak. So during the winter, we actually see it'll drop down, 30% a lot of the time. So we'll actually put water on the floors back here, and that will actually create humidity back here for us. And so we can try and kind of minimize the impact on that. So we're aware of it. We do like to see the ebb and flow of Texas and how that affects the whiskey. That's kind of part of the whole kind of French philosophy we use. Is it has to represent the place. So if I just put it in its own little chamber and just did the exact same thing to it that I wanted to, I could mimic Kentucky's environment. But then I'm not really making Texas whiskey at that point. I'm trying to copy
100%.
Kentucky whiskey.
No, great
So,
answer.
yeah.
Great answer. All right. So,
All right, we got Jonathan ventured off. He's pulled from another cask in here, and don't count on me for nosing notes.
So this one's another Apotheosis. I'll say that much.
another Apotheosis. Huh. So I get a little bit of a floral note kind of coming off of it. And that sweetness is there, of course. Huh. All right, what are you picking up?
Nothing.
Nothing. All right, what else? What else did
It's
you get
whiskey
on
and
there?
it smells like the one before.
I wanted to give you a shot.
So, kind of the floral and sweetness. There's a honeyed note coming out.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, don't reveal too much yet.
No,
till I get in on-
we're on the
just
nose.
the note. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't reveal too much till we. Let's see.
See, now you know how I feel.
Hey,
Yep. What up? What up? You're saying too much. Mm.
We get a lot more fruit up front. There was a lot of rich fruit,
Like berry?
fruits at this point.
Fruits?
Um,
I get a berry,
if it's
like a blackberry.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's interesting.
yeah, if it's a wine casking, I think, and it's a bourbon, a lot of the corn notes have been subdued. They're being taken over, I think, by whatever I'm not getting like a lot of the natural bourbon notes here. It's rich. There's a lot of flavor packed in there, but this fruitiness is coming through. And I think if there's corn in here, it's just been tamed down.
Mm. Yeah.
Wow.
Those berries are great.
Woo.
All right. So
All right, so this one is going to be, we call it PDC. So it's called Pinot de Siront, which is a product made in Cognac, in which they take brandy, some Cognac brandy, and blend that back into some basically unfermented grape juice, or sometimes quasi-fermented grape juice. And so it retains a lot of the natural sugars from it. So it's almost a kind of Moscato-like sweetness. And then that gets rebarreled in French oak. And so you have that kind of brandy backbone to it. And so it's delicious. They drink it over there all the time. Like it's a very sessionable product.
So is this a bourbon that's in that cask?
This is bourbon in the Pinot de Siront.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Mm.
A lot of times, and we've had several bourbons that kind of have a wine cask influencing, but usually bourbon is so strong, the wine cask influence has a problem overriding those bourbon notes. That the Pinot de Siront is really kicking in here, I think, and taking over the bourbon.
So DC said red.
In there.
Go ahead. I didn't want to step on you. DC says red fruit, citrusy ripe with a question mark. I don't think so. I think more like blackberry. But what do you have on there? So
a lot of times with our whiskey, we naturally in our bourbon, we get a lot of plum, a lot of apricot in our stuff as well. We sometimes we'll get cherry, but it tends to be a darker cherry note. Blueberry, I see in our whiskey a lot. This one seems to be kicking out somewhere the blueberry, maybe the blackberry, some plum in there probably.
Black currant.
Black currant's actually a really good description of it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
This guy's
Now-
also not at bottling strength. He's up there.
Throw me. I put in a couple droppers. Give me another one there. That's good. Yeah, the first one that we had that was out of the Armagnac, I was still getting a lot of the bourbon notes. A lot of the corn was coming through, and it's not here. This is starting to.
So there's this cask, and then there's another one where we don't have as much bourbon in it, and it's a much heavier finish in there as well.
Oh.
So what we're able to do with them is if we want to adjust the blend on it, we can blend in some new bourbon into it if we think it needs more bourbon character. If we want more Pinot de Siront character, we can blend it from that other cask. So these are not intended to be single barrels at the end of the day. It's what's going to taste the best.
yeah, DC says dark fruits. Gotcha. Let's see. Yep, talking about happy days. Very nice. We got Richie Z saying, mash that like button. Go, Richie Z. Go. So, very cool.
42 minutes.
Yep, we're getting close. So, anything else? I mean, and we're fine. This is great, but anything else you want to add on or anything you want to say? Anything? I like your American flag here, by the way.
Thanks.
I just wanted to touch
We're in
you.
the Republic.
Yes. Had to happen. So, no, it's been great. Yeah, I mean, if you guys get down into Texas, I know we had a fella come in that said he was doing the Texas, whiskey tour and making his run. Hey, here we go. Killing time. Come on in.
Back here.
He's about ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're getting ready.
Robert Licorice is in the house.
I'm going to stand
Doing
behind
all
you.
Oh.
There you go. You're in. You just got to project.
Yeah. Camera.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
There.
Right, so
Yep. Not there.
That's good. It picks
All
you
right.
up.
So what were you just doing?
I was doing a tour and tasting people on all the whiskey and getting talked into pulling barrel samples for people. So
Got it. Like it.
We've talked a little bit. We've gone through a couple whiskeys here and stuff. We talked about the expansion with the distillery, COVID, kind of the effects there. How do you feel as far as getting right when COVID hit? You guys got the award, best bourbon in the world.
that's a little high expectation, Bill. I think the first reaction I had was, oh, people are going to trash on us now, big time.
Well, and that's partially because it was the first non-Kentucky juice to do that. So it was out of the ordinary, to say the least.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, and there's there's a little bit of animosity there, I'm sure, between the traditional your Kentucky bourbons, those distilleries and stuff that people feel like, oh, if it's not in Kentucky, it's not a bourbon.
Yeah, and then but pot still distillate is so different than calm still, and that again, just even flavor profiles can be quite a bit different. That I think that sometimes it's when you go into something when you're expecting one thing and you get something completely different. Some people love that, and some people are like, "No, thank you."
Yep.
So
Ben Lee, super chat, $4.99. He said,
ding, 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 ding.
He would love to see some Ironroot Republic in Alabama.
Yeah.
Bama.
Oh, and Virginia came up. And do you know?
Yeah, Virginia is tough because it's a control state, except for beer and wine. So if you cross over the borders either way from Virginia, you can get it. So they have it in Maryland.
Ooh, we've had yet another super ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. If you're in Virginia, go to Maryland, Robert says,
Yes.
right across the border.
So Joseph Horton, $9.99 super chat. Cheers, dummies. Here's to Ironroot, one day making it to Hawaii. I look forward to tasting that tasty Texas treat and tropical island breezes. Wow. Lovely iteration.
I need to get me to Hawaii first.
Yeah.
That's
I'm actually going in February. So send me a message. I might bring you a bottle, Joseph.
Ooh,
there you go.
Look at that.
What's your email address?
Yeah.
Robert@ironrootrepublic.com.
Robert@ironrootrepublic.com. Yeah. We're going to get some emails now.
You got 4 suitcases going to Hawaii.
Mhm. All right. Well, we know you guys are getting ready to have yet another tasting experience
Tour will be starting here soon-ish.
So we'll wrap it up.
Real quick, I would like to say, even with the awards that you've won, the good whiskey that you're making, I think most distilleries would already be like, how do we increase production? We need to start cranking out more product. And you guys aren't doing that.
We're trying to figure out how to make more.
You're taking it in stride, but you're also saying, hey, these are our capabilities right now. We can't commit, to making that much more product right now until, this expands or we add this or that. So you haven't taken on more than you can chew, per se.
And there's always quality concerns when you start ramping things up quickly. And so that's if we increase production, we want to make sure we do it the right way so we can keep the quality up to where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure our livers stay intact. So
There you go.
Mostly.
yeah.
Well, we're going to cut the video here, and then there might be a few more drinks involved, and we'll see how our livers
Everything's
are doing.
possible. So Scotch it, you Scotch guy.
Hey, thanks to everybody that tuned in, and thanks to Robert and Jonathan Licorice and Marcia and John out there as well.
Marsha.
Trust us, if you get a chance to try Ironroot, do it.
Yeah. Seek it out.
Yep.
Seek it out.
Sláinte, dummies.
Cheers, everybody.
Woo. You got it on 2 different, so I'll let you go in. See you a little bit.